It's a good idea to hand weed sometimes when you want to make sure you don't hurt the roots of the plants that you prefer, like these dill that have seeded themselves. Because if you get too close with the hoeing sometimes you might damage the roots. I like to sit right down on the ground sometimes for some weeding, just to make sure I get around the plant well enough. And for some weeds you probably need a hand spade. Notice I've got my hands covered while I work. Your hands can take a lot of beating when you're out in the garden from the sun. I'll just continue to weed these tomatoes around the tomato base by hand, and I'll also notice these suckers that we need to take off. I like to keep a nice straight line for this for the tomato, and here, like this one in the crotch here, just take those off and keep it clean. I even try to take these side shoots off here, because without hurting the rest of the plant, that way it'll again channel this energy toward one stem. While you're at it with the spade, you can also just scratch the surface for some of the smaller weeds, and that'll nip it in the bud. I usually just put my weeds in a little pile. If they have seeds, I leave them out. I be careful that the roots don't take hold again in the soil, and then I can throw them in the compost pile. Grass roots tend to take hold, and also plantain tends to take hold again. Some plants will take hold unless you got their roots facing up into the sun, where they'll dry out and die. Here's a little pink-centered lamb's quarters that I actually imported. I had some seed, and they've naturalized around the area, and they don't seem to mix with the green ones. This is a good time to put support in for the tomato plants, and this is, I think it's called a tomato cage. This works pretty good. And also you can stake your tomatoes like this. Now tomatoes can grow fairly tall, but in this climate, zone 4B I believe it is, we have a short season, and we're lucky to get ripe tomatoes unless we plant our seeds in early March. I plant a number of things indoors in March. These are just some left over that I haven't planted yet. They're kind of stumped in where they're growing, but these onions might still make it. They all might still make it if I plant them soon. I had these onions from last year. I saved them for the seed. They produced seed in the second year. I really should have gotten them in this year, but didn't manage. But it seems like they're going to produce some seed anyway. And just for fun, I planted some beets in a pot in the window inside early this year too. I thought maybe this could be part, eventually I'll try a lot of different greens for a winter indoor greens collection.